Well, welcome back to Pioneer Ridge and to our educational video series with the Wapello County Conservation Board. We are out in the middle of one of our newer prairie plantings. I would call it a teenager in prairie years, and really coming into its own. And North America, at least in the central part, used to be tall grass prairie, millions of acres of it. Through our changes to the landscape so we could live, so we could farm, we have taken a lot of that away, and in fact probably about 1% or less of the prairie remains in this area. But through places like this where we can come out and we can plant and we can kind of restore some of those prairies, you can find the king of all prairie grasses. And while it's not as showy as the lotuses and the partridge pea that we've talked about the last few weeks, it does bloom. And right now, Big Bluestem is blooming. It's fall. And yes, a grass can bloom. It still needs to be pollinated, so their blooms are going to be a little bit different than those other flowers that we've talked about. Even though this bloom is not real showy, you will see that it does have different colors in it. You'll see reds, browns, blues, some greens in there, and of course the yellow, the pollen that will be flying off of there. Big Bluestem is very good for cover. As you can see, we're in a patch of really high, tall Big Bluestem, called the king, of course, because it's 8 feet tall or more, with roots 10 feet down or more underground. Bees will use this as a nesting area because the stems are very strong. Lots of sparrows eat the seeds from this grass. So the grasshopper sparrow, you'll see wrens, meadowlarks, and if we had prairie chickens here, even the prairie chickens would eat the seeds. These grasses are eaten by deer. They would have been eaten by bison back in the day. Of course, we don't have those here anymore. One reason Big Bluestem disappeared from a lot of places where they grazed cattle is because Big Bluestem can handle the migratory kind of seasonal grazing that bison did. Cattle, they would be on that area for a long time, and with continued cutting off of this grass, it's going to die. So you may not usually see it in a concentration like you do right here, but if you come out to Pioneer Ridge, take a little walk around, you're going to see areas where Big Bluestem is doing really well because we don't cut it off every year. We don't graze it. We burn it once in a while, but that's about it. Big Bluestem, of course, in this concentration is also going to help this prairie to be good cover. We found a deer bed in here earlier as we were finding this spot. You're going to have cover for a lot of birds in here as well. Big Bluestem is a host plant for a couple of different kinds of skipper butterflies. Host plant just means that's where they lay their egg. That's what that caterpillar is going to eat. So Big Bluestem serves a lot of purposes out here. Even though it may not be the showiest of plants, it's definitely one of the tallest, and it's pretty important to the prairie ecosystem. Now, as far as uses, because everyone wants to know if we can use it. The Chippewa Indians were known to use this plant as a diuretic and also as a pain reliever. They would make an emulsion out of the leaves that they would use as a wash for fevers. So there is a use for this plant if you know exactly what to use and how to use it. But again, I never recommend coming out and picking plants, trying to use them for your own uses if you don't know for sure what the plant is and how to use it. So as fall approaches, you want to get outdoors, take a walk through the prairie, take a walk through the woodlands, and just see what's out here. All of these native plants are going to be attracting all kinds of birds, pollinators, all sorts of animals this time of year. Soon, the monarchs will be coming through. They'll be sitting on the milkweeds and all the flowers out here. But take a look at some of these less showy plants like Big Bluestem and the other grasses that you'll see out here in the prairie. And just relax, enjoy a little time outside, because that's what nature is for.